Hello everyone, Julian the drummer from Bristol with another video on records. It's been a while. That's mainly because since the last video back in April I have held off buying records for a while. So it's been quite a break for me, but I soon put that right when I recently went to the London Record Fair at Victoria a few weeks ago. Haven't been to one of those for many years, so I thought I'd give it a go and see how it's changed over the years. And it's really still much the same. One of the biggest fairs around, and as I expected, lots of good things to be found. I bought far too many, spent too much money, but that's the way it goes, I suppose, sometimes. So I'll have to have another long break before I go to the next one. But I got some really good things there. I've got 8 albums to show you, spreading across the rock, prog, and with a touch of jazz rock along the way, and finishing up with a real gem that I've been after for a while, and really pleased to have in my collection. So we're going to start off with an album that's not difficult to find. It's quite a regular one, and it's by a band who over the years have made dozens of albums, it seems. But I bought this one because I'd heard that it was good, and also because I just do like this band, and I've wanted to get more of their material. And we're talking about Manfred Mann's Earth Band, and this is their 1975 album called Nightingales and Bombers, and it was released on the Bronze label, and it's got the classic early Earth Band lineup on it, which is Mick Rogers vocals and guitar, Manfred Mann himself on the keyboards, Colin Pattenden bass, and Chris Slade drums. And let's just have a quick look at the record. There we are. You can see it's on the nice old Bronze label there, and this really is a great album. It's I looked up their albums in the Guinness Book of Hit Albums, and they did have a few that made the albums charts, but I'm surprised that this one didn't, because it really is a great sort of trip through prog. There's some great songs on here. Most of them are written by the band, and a couple by others. Quick look at the tracks. Side 1, we've got Spirits in the Night, which is a Bruce Springsteen song. I think they were quite keen on recording Bruce Springsteen songs. They Blinded by the Light, I think, was a hit single the following year for them. Then we have Countdown, Time Is Right, Crossfade, and then side 2, Visionary Mountains, Nightingales and Bombers, title track, Fat Nelly, and then it ends with As Above, So Below, which is basically a sound recording of somebody during World War II. They recorded, they set out to record Nightingales, but at the same time the German bombers came over, so obviously hence the album's title. But like I say, great album, thoroughly recommend it if you've not got it. If you're a fan of Manfred Mann's Earth Band, great playing throughout, very imaginary, great musicianship, and not expensive either, quite easy to find. So there's Manfred Mann's Earth Band, Nightingales and Bombers from 1975. Right, next up, moving into the sort of jazz rock territory with a band who was very hot on musicianship, quite revolutionary because of their lineup. A trio, and in this case, it's sax, bass, and drums. And you probably guess from that lineup that I'm talking about Backdoor. And this is their 1976 album called Activate. And I think this was the first with a lineup change on it, because we've got Ron Asprey on saxophones, also adding in a bit of electric and acoustic piano, mellotron and organ, Colin Hodgkinson bass and fretless bass guitar, but also adding in some electric guitar and 12-string guitar and vocals, and a new drummer, Adrian Tilbrook, who replaced the original drummer Tony Hicks. Colin Hodgkinson, as you probably know, quite a unique bass player in that he played a lot of chords, which really provided a unique sound, really filled it out. Got a very funky feel on Backdoor Records, and this one is no exception. It's got a great deal of imaginary tracks on here. Side 1, You Got Evil, Through the Zigzag Gate, Train Won't Blow, Dragonfly and Eliminate. Side 2, Speedwalker, Roll On, Moon Mad Woman and Crying Inside. All written by band members, and this is on Warner's, and it's the Burbank label from the mid-70s. Absolutely spotless, this one. Again, like the last one, not difficult to find. But Backdoor, I guess they are an acquired taste, but if you like experimental jazz funk, then they are worth checking out. And this is one of their best albums as well. Colin Hodgkinson, very well known session bassist. He did spend a while with Whitesnake, I think, in the late 80s. But he's most known for, apart from Backdoor, from playing with Alexis Corner for several years, and various other bands. But that was Backdoor was his sort of main group that he put together in the early 70s, and it was quite a unique sound with just the sax, bass and drums. Right, next up, staying in that territory, we have another group that was, I think it was meant to be an occasional project, but it turned out to be a bit more of a permanent thing. But it largely depended on who was available as well. And in this case, it's another album that you see quite often, as is the case with a lot of their albums. But I really wanted this one because it's, having heard bits of it, it did sound really good, and I thought I must try and get a copy of this one. And we're talking about Brand X, and this is the album Masks, and it was issued in 1978. And you probably know that this band sometimes, or quite regularly at one time, included Phil Collins on drums. I think this was the first one they did without him, and so we've got the lineup of Percy Jones on bass and John Goodsall guitar, Maurice Pert on percussion. I think they were regulars, they were in it pretty much all the time. Peter Robinson on keyboards, I think he was pretty much a regular member as well. And drums on this one is Chuck Berge. And this is on the lovely old Mad Hatter Charisma label. Really nice copy, pretty spotless, plays brilliantly, and it's got some phenomenal tracks on it as well. Really is top playing from everybody concerned. Lots of great chords, progressions, um, and really transports you, I suppose, would be the word to use. Tracks on here: side one, The Poke, Masks, Black Moon, and Deadly Nightshade. And then side two, Earth Dance, Access to Data, and The Ghost of Mayfield Lodge. All written by members of the band. And yeah, this is a phenomenal record. I know that there are other Brand X albums out there which are pretty good too, but I can, if you're discovering them for the first time, I can certainly recommend this one. So it's Brand X, Masks, 1978. And the last one on that particular, in that particular genre, is from the USA, and it's from a great legendary keyboard player who sadly passed on not too long ago. But he left behind so many great records, and inspired a lot of people as well. And he is the great Chick Corea. And this is his 1976 album called The Leprechaun. And it's on Polydor. It's a nice original UK press. Again, pretty spotless. Again, I've heard bits of this over the last few months, and thought, yeah, let's try and find a copy. Again, not too difficult to find, not expensive, and this one's well, as you would expect. It's got some great musicians on it, which are actually listed on the. It's got the inner sheet as well, giving all those details. So, apart from Chick Corea himself on the keyboards and orchestration, we have Gail Moran, who was his wife, vocals on one track, and then Steve Gadd on drums, Eddie Gomez bass, where he plays acoustic bass on some tracks, and then electric bass by Anthony Jackson, and then Joe Farrell on reed instruments, and then there's a string quartet as well that contributes. And the tracks we have here are side one, Imp's Welcome, Lenore, Reverie, Looking at the World, and Night Sprite. And then side two we have Soft and Gentle, Fixieland Rag, and Leprechaun's Dream. So it's all a bit of a concept album, I guess you call it. Yeah, again, fantastic musicianship, great playing, and if you like jazz rock, with a touch of, I suppose, symphonic structures to it, then this is one to go for. So Chick Corea, The Leprechaun, 1976. Right, something a bit different now, moving back to the rock side of things. And when I saw this, I kind of looked at who was playing on it, and I thought, this looks great. And I was surprised when I looked it up. It's not a particularly collectible album either, especially for the time when it came out, which is 1973, and that sort of genre and the label it's on as well. And I'd never heard of this band before, and I'm surprised they didn't go on to do much more. But this is Snafu, self-titled album from 1973, and it's there's the back there, and it's on a gatefold sleeve there, and it's on the short-lived WWA label, which for a while bought the rights to Black Sabbath albums, Gentle Giant, I think Medicine Head, one or two others, Groundhogs, I think, but they didn't last long. Nonetheless, this is a great album. Snafu were comprised Bobby Harrison, lead vocals and percussion. Procol Harum aficionados will probably know that he was the first drummer with Procol Harum, and in fact he plays on the first recording of Whiter Shade of Pale before the hit single was released. So if you got the box set of the Procol Harum recordings from 67 to 71, I think, you'll hear a couple of early takes in stereo of Whiter Shade of Pale, and Bobby Harrison's on the drums there. And then I think Bill Iden came in to record it, the one that was issued as the big hit single. But anyway, we also have Mickey Moody, guitars, mandolin and backing vocals. He, of course, went on to do lots of other things, including, I think he was in the early lineup of Whitesnake. Pete Solly on the keyboards, synthesizer, violin and backing vocals. Colin Gibson, bass. Both of those went on to do playing various other bands and sessions, crop up on a lot of albums over the years. Terry Popple, drums. And this was produced by Vic Smith and the band. Recorded at the Manor Studios in Oxford. And as I say, released in 1973. Quick look at the tracks. Side 1, Long Gone, Said He the Judge, Monday Morning, Drowning in the Sea of Love, which is a Philadelphia song. Gamble and Huff wrote that, so I guess it was probably recorded by one of their stable of artists. And then side 2, Country Nest, Funky Friend, Goodbye USA, and That's the Song. So all tracks apart from that Drowning in the Sea of Love are band compositions. I would describe this as good time rock, pretty much along the lines of Heads, Hands and Feet, Brinsley Schwartz, that kind of thing, early 70s. Yeah, really good. Not a lot else to say about it really, except that it's you don't often see it around, and it's not all that expensive either. So if as I say, if good time rock and roll is your thing, then you can't go wrong with this. So that's Snafu, 1973. Right, next we've got a real gem, which I think has been featured maybe by in one or two other videos, as such that it influenced me to go to try and find one, and I did for not too much money either. I was quite pleased to get a hold of this. Some German prog, and this is the band Birth Control, and this album came out in 1970, 71, 72. Quick look. In 1971, self-titled. I think, having seen, I think it was Chris in Suffolk featured this on his video a while back. I think he said this was an amalgamation of tracks from their German album, which had a different title, or that although it's, or maybe it's got a different sleeve. I can't remember, but it's they made lots of lots of albums over the years, Birth Control, and with different lineups as well. But I think this is the sort of classic early lineup. We have Bruno Frenzel, guitar, Reinhold Sobota, organ, Bernd Noske, drums, who is also the lead singer, I believe, and Bernd Koschmieder, bass. Tracks on here: Stop Little Lady, Just Before the Sun Will Rise, and The Work Is Done. And then on side 2, Let Us Do It Now, Flesh and Blood, and Pandemonium. And this is on the nice original scroll purple Charisma label. Right way around. And it is absolutely spotless. A really nice copy. And it's, well, it's great German prog, basically. Kind of, I suppose, influenced by, well, there are elements in other prog bands here, but it's just very, it's quite heavy, but at the same time it's really accessible. Lots of great chord progressions again. Yeah, not unlike, I suppose, Yes, King Crimson, that type of thing. But certainly they put their own stamp on it, and it's a really great album. This one, you certainly don't see it around too much. So that's Birth Control, self-titled album from 1971. Right. Next is an artist who I've recently got into, and perhaps a little late in the day. Sadly, he's no longer with us, but he certainly made lots of albums over the years and left behind a great recorded legacy. Fine musician, very imaginative songwriter, and he always seemed to get the best people playing with him as well. And the person I'm talking about is Kevin Ayers, and this is his 1972 album called Whatever She Brings We Sing, and it's on Harvest with the gatefold. And this is like many Harvest albums of the time, it's on the nice textured sleeve, and it's stood the test of time well too. There's a little bit of a spine split, but you can still read the title and other details on it. And this is on, I think it's on Harvest. Nice original green label. Again, no problems with the condition on this either. I'm really pleased to have got this one because I'd heard it was one of his best, and it's certainly a great album. It takes you on a big kind of swirling trip through Kevin Ayers' usual sort of whimsical songs combined with orchestration, basic band playing, really good songs all round, a great feel to it. Um, you sort of wonder what's coming next. So it really is a great one in terms of that, and it's certainly not predictable in any way. Um, we have on here Kevin Ayres vocals, guitar, bass, and piano, and then David Bedford on the keyboards, who I think arranged a lot of the orchestrations on here as well. Mike Oldfield, lead guitar and bass, about a year or so before he made You Know What. Didier Malherbe, sax flute, who was of course a member of Gong. Dave Dufour, drums. Robert Wyatt guests here on vocal harmony on the title track. Jerry Fields, violin. And then two drummers, Tony Carr and William Murray. And then Johnny Van Derrick, violin. Kevin Ayres himself, of course, was the original bass player with the Soft Machine. And the Canterbury scene there, I suppose, gives the link to, I suppose, Didier Malherbe's involvement, because Gong was formed by David Allen, who was also an original member of Soft Machine. So there's the connection. Robert Wyatt, of course, another ex-Soft Machine member. Tracks on here. Side 1, There Is Loving. Among Us, There Is Loving. Sorry, that's all one title. Margaret, Oh My, Song from the Bottom of a Well, which is a really strange, magical sort of journey of a song. And then side 2, Whatever She Brings We Sing, Stranger in Blue Suede Shoes, Champagne Cowboy Blues, and Lullaby. Yeah, if you like Kevin Ayres, you probably got this one if you're a fan of his, but if you haven't and you're just discovering him like I am, then yeah, this is worth picking up. It's can be a bit pricey. This one wasn't too bad. So I bought it with a couple of others, so I got a bit of a discount on it. But yeah, really interesting album. Takes you to a lot of different places. Right, last up, I suppose the gem of the selection. I've had this pretty near the top of my wants list for quite a while, and again, it's a very expensive record, but I managed to get a good deal on it. It's a real prog classic, this one, and it is Gracious. The band Gracious, and this was made in 1970. Here's the gatefold, and the back, which is just not especially inspiring, but however, the record itself, yeah, it's on the Vertigo Swirl, nice original, and it's absolutely not a mark on it, and I'm so pleased to have got this one. If you've not heard it, it's a prog rock collector's dream. It really is, like so many on that Swirl Vertigo label from I guess between 1969 and 1973. I don't know what it was about a lot of those bands that they just made one or perhaps two albums, and then just nothing else was heard from them. But maybe it was because labels like Vertigo and DRAM were prepared to give people a chance, sign them up, but then I suppose found that promotion costs a lot of money, and if you don't get champions such as the likes of who was around at the time, John Peel, I suppose, or somebody like that, really pushing it, then the chances of getting record sales were perhaps pretty minimal, and the bands just sort of broke up and went off and did other things. The lineup of Gracious is Paul Davis, vocals, 12-string guitar and timpani. Martin Kitcat, mellotron piano, electric piano, harpsichord, vocals. Alan Cowdroy, guitar and vocals. Tim Wheatley, bass. Robert Lipson, drums. All band compositions were written by Paul Davis and Martin Kitcat. Published, interestingly, by Norrie Paramore Music Limited. He, of course, a veteran producer at EMI for Cliff Richard and the Shadows and many others. Recorded at Philips Studios, spring 1970. And this is the tracks on here. Side 1, introduction, Heaven, Hell, and then side 2, Fugue in D minor and The Dream. You can tell just by the titles on that it's going to be a prog classic, and it really is. It's a great album. Really does have a lot of great mood and texture about it, and the musicianship is top notch as well. You can obviously stream it on YouTube and elsewhere, I guess. But if you're a collector and you haven't already, if you like your Swirl Vertigo records, then this is obviously I would say it's an essential one to try and get hold of. So that's Gracious, 1970. There we are, that's it. The latest finds. I hope there was something there that you found interesting. Do like and subscribe if you haven't done already. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about those records. If you've got any more information on them or the artists involved. And I will endeavour to make another video in the not too distant future when I've acquired some more records, and go through those with you then. In the meantime, take care, and thanks for watching, and speak to you soon.